to go.
Okay, we left off with a question about businesses bringing them back and also crime. But another area here is water, because there is, people have a fear that California, since we have water sources outside the state, sometimes in other states with the Colorado River and so forth, what's going to happen to LA in other ways, and how are we going to ensure that we'll have enough water for LA and other areas that's surrounding LA?
Most of the people are not aware that they start making storage tanks for reservoirs since 1970s, late 70s, 77 I think primarily. So first priority of mine is going to be having more storage tanks rebuilt, and then 78% of the water is going to the ocean existing. That needs to be stopped. Get the environmental people ask these questions. There are a lot of desalination processes existing, technologies out there. A country like Israel, which is totally a drought, it was born with almost a desert land, and it's the most fertile land today. So the technology is out there. Whether Israel is going to provide that technology or other countries are going to be providing it. These are all man-made issues. Whatever you're seeing problems, homelessness problems, drought problems, fire problems, these are all man-made issues. The solutions are there, out there, because Finland is a country which is contained. 80% of Finland is all forest, and they preserve it with controlled fires. So these are all minor issues. Like I said, the main issue is, like we say in India, roti, kapra and makan, which is like the food, housing and food and clothes. These are the basic needs of humankind. These basic needs are met by bringing in additional global businesses to California, treat California as an independent, it's the fifth largest economy in the world. It provides all the resources for America to be number one economy in the world. Let's focus on that. Let's bring in global businesses to California. That solves 99% of the problems of California.
That's a good point. Now, one issue you may run into is that there's sometimes a contradiction with the federal government and what their goals are and what the state wants to achieve. For example, I know Florida and Texas have had their battles with keeping their sovereignty in regards to COVID issues, to keep businesses open, but to do it responsibly. And how would you handle those contradictions within the government? Because sometimes they flip-flop on their own statements as to what businesses and other people can do in their own state. So how would you address federal issues if they try to dictate to you what you're supposed to do in California?
CDC is federal, FDA is federal. Similarly, in the state of California, every state has the prerogative to have their own health departments. They are competent people. We definitely would like to review what CDC recommends or FDA recommends, but we have our own capable people to guide us through for our 40 million residents of California. It's the prerogative of the governor of California to take care of its citizens, and I'm competent enough to have a competent team. And because 200 countries, most competent people have immigrated to this country and the state, one of the most prosperous states of this country, and the immigrant community has got a major portion, whether it's the Silicon Valley or to Los Angeles. It is, where the media and entertainment, 99% of the media and entertainment business is right here in Los Angeles globally. Right. All those things, we have very competent people. So issues that come out of directives that come out of the federal government has to be reviewed by the state government. That's why there is independent jurisdiction between different organizations.
Right, because sometimes we see states contesting.
Absolutely, because always the federal side is not correct, because everybody is a human being. Their perspectives are different. CDC's perspective is different. FDA's perspective is different. Right. There were major issues coming out right now. They say mandatory without vaccine. Many states have given the directive that if you're not vaccinated, you cannot go to the gym, you cannot go to the restaurant. There's a dispute on that also.
Correct.
So that freedom has to be maintained.
Yes.
We are all here in the United States because it's a free country. If somebody doesn't want to be vaccinated, he doesn't need to be vaccinated. But as a business owner, like this store is there, he has a right, his own right, to allow you to come inside or not to come inside. It's not a state directive or a city directive. It's not a federal directive.
It sounds like it's that idea of libertarianism where people have the freedom.
Absolutely. That's how it should be. That's what makes America greatest country in the world. It's the best country in the world because of the freedom.
I think our forefathers would agree with you.
Absolutely, that's
Jefferson,
the
Washington.
constitution of the country.
That's correct.
And you cannot deviate from the original constitution of the nation that the forefathers have built this nation on.
Right.
Whether it's the Fifth Amendment or the
First
the
Amendment,
First Amendment,
speech.
your right to have guns.
Yeah.
You have that freedom. Why not? I mean, you cannot change that over the years. And
Right.
there was a reason why the forefathers gave those,
Right.
they could foresee things 270 years ago,
That's true. Now, I guess
Shop is looking.
any more final thoughts? Because I think the audience, the people listening to this, have gotten a great idea where you're coming from, and I don't think many people would disagree with the common sense that you're sharing. That's why I like to have you on Common Sense, because this is what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Is running a
That's
country
why.
or a state with common sense.
Yeah, because the first thing I would like to say before I let you go, John, we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
Okay,
True.
200 nations are there. What is lacking in this country, which I want to correct it, everybody is a human asset, which no other country in the world has. Unfortunately, the federal system or the political system does not appreciate that 200 nations are here. Those human beings who are here, 200 nations, who are competent in their own nations, migrated to this country. Imagine a situation like Anthony Blinken today is a Secretary of State. Okay, where is the power of the world coming from? Asia. Which is the rising power? Asia. Which is the problematic place? Asia. Where is Taliban? Asia. Secretary of State should be from Asia.
Yeah.
Those kind of common sense things.
That makes sense.
Yeah, if Blinken was an Asian American, I think he would have made a different decision about Kabul. He would have made an absolutely different decision, and how the withdrawal of troops would have happened would have been different. We would have saved 13 lives of our own Marines, because his thinking, Anthony Blinken's thinking, is not an Asian thinking. And to outbeat the Chinese and the Pakistanis intelligence who have their embassy still in Kabul,
Right.
and the Russians have it. Russia is not that much of a threat as much as the Chinese or the Pakistani ISI agency, what they are doing in that region.
Yeah.
As Anthony Blinken cannot see it through.
Right.
Probably an Indo-American would have seen it through. That what would have happened? We have $80 billion worth of military equipment lying there in Taliban, and in June we were warned that Taliban is going to take over Afghanistan, and in the month of July we give them $80 billion worth of. What kind of a disastrous decision are you making?
Right.
And who has to be blamed? Whether the DOD has to be blamed or Anthony Blinken has to be blamed? These kind of, it's called stupidity.
Yeah.
You can't give your enemies $80 billion military hardware, which they can. 85% of the world's helicopters are with Taliban today. 85% of the world's helicopters are with Taliban today, which we have given them for free. And before we come out, I'm just recommending the drones should go and just destroy all our military equipment that we have given them.
Yeah.
We have the ability, we have the capability to do that, and we don't do that. These kind of stupid decisions are made at the highest level.
Yeah, and to back you up, Senator Donald Regal did the report, export imports to Iraq. And Saddam Hussein, when was fighting Iran, we supported him with chemical and biological weapons to the tons of millions of dollars, and supported him with technology to use it. We did the same thing here again.
Absolutely.
With the Taliban. So it's like this pattern has repeated over 30 years. So it's like, when is it someone's going to start realizing a difference has to occur?
It's the different leadership has to be born.
Right.
Asian Americans, especially from India, Indo-Americans, because you cannot trust the Chinese, you cannot trust the Pakistanis. The only friendly country you have in the world for America today is the Hindus of India. I specify that. Hindus of India are the best friends America has today. And they should utilize that Hindus of America in seats of power.
So you're saying we can't trust the Wuhan Institute of Virology?
But we can trust Indians.
And that is what we should do. You
Yes.
should trust the Hindus of India.
Yes.
All
Then
Indians
that is
except
the-
for...
Yeah, she's also a Hindu who's just come
Yes,
from India.
absolutely.
And she should.
Taking
And,
inspiration from our star.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the Hindus are the best friends of the Christians.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, that's true.
And we are 32% of the world population. Hindus are 32% of the world population. Christians are 26% of the world population.
That's
Join hands together.
Yeah.
You have the Quad nations on one side, Japan is your friend, which is a Buddhist nation. Like that, it is a religion war today. Let's face the fact this is a reality of life. Okay?
That's correct.
In that religion war, we have to join hands and fight the forces together.
That makes sense.
And yeah, because you have to face the reality. Either you face it today or you face it tomorrow. Whether Taliban has done it or the IS, they're the same brothers.
Yeah.
They're using a different name.
Yes. Same thing.
Same thing being used a different name, and more is to come. Everybody is saying more is coming.
Of course, if
And
nothing is done.
you're giving them $80 billion worth of military equipment. For what? To kill us more?
It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Well, listen, thank you so much, and I hope you understand and listen for. Can I give me your name again?
Kevin Kaul.
I get my memories getting bad. And listen to Kevin Kaul for governor because he speaks a lot of common sense here. So I hope you guys understand. Listen to what he has to say and ask more questions if you want. I'm sure he'd be glad to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
It's been common sense.